October 2024, all of Mexico is like an animal before the murder case used creepy color politics at Cupan Single Jos Bravo Guerrero County. New mayor of the city is Mr. Alejandro Acos Catalan was beheaded exposed in the middle of Than, but not just 6 days after taking office. This was seen as a show of force by gang scrime when Mr. Acos kept a tough attitude. Snake wants complete control of Security City. However, the more the investigation closer and more surprised to realize that this incident also had the support of the internal affairs. The government outlined the target, reality, the shameful ruin of the upper-class city. Who is behind it after all? The tragic passing of the new mayor? As usual, before entering the interior main content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. True case. And now we will start. Chimpancingo de los Bravo player. The state of Guerrero is located in southern Mexico. Is a city located in the mountains Sierra Madrid. Tesson, central role administrative and commercial center of the state, although not far from tourist beaches, known as a Chimpancingo, again carries two opposing images. On one side, traditional lifestyle with supporting areas bustling with folk festivals. The other side is the shadow of violence due to the fight over illegal substances control of the area. For many years through, this city continuously lies in the heart. The points of security campaigns reflect clearly shows the fierce battle that Mexico is facing the development of cultural tourism and late-stage organized crime in 2024. The security situation in the locality, this method, is especially unstable. Guerrero has become one of the places Mexico's most dangerous place for officials and journalists. Organized crime gangs organizations like Los Ilos and Los TCOS publicly confrontation to control illegal activities from trafficking to protection racket and extortion. Political forces are everywhere. The public was in great confusion. Everyone understands that the gangs are water-based, brutal, and newly elected leaders could become the next target. That scene is a very fertile land for the seeds of evil, sprouted leading to tragedy. The play is both tragic and indignant at first. October 2024. Everything returns to the afternoon late Sunday, October 6th, 2024. People at Vas Grover Hospital, East Chippeningo, spotted a strange pickup truck on the roadside in good condition, opened the door wide. A curious passerby came closer, and Bang Huang shouted a saw on the roof of the car, a head full of red syrup. The screams were deafening, causing people around to rush to call the police, and soon the siren howling sound tore through the still air quiet every day. The investigators said the officer approached the scene cautiously near the car. Inside the trunk, the amount of function that was witnessed was terrifying. A middle-aged mano, more bloody thinking. The victim's face was no longer on the body, invisible but present. Right before the eyes, they put it on the roof of the cabin as a challenge barbaric knowledge. The police investigated thickly. Experience must also be used before the level of brutality rarely seen. Now the school seemed to be deliberately staged public exposure, body abandoned back in the car, making no effort to hide, which all suggest signs of a crime, brutal deterrent purge of the state's party. Also aimed at sending a message threatens the entire community. Due to the nature horror of the scene, no one sober enough to recognize who the victim is. Familiar face. Police said conduct license plate and document check scar quickly know the pickup owned by a high-ranking official local. A chill ran through along the spine. Although it is not possible to rush to discuss anything but touch on politics out. This is a complex case that requires the police must investigate carefully and thoroughly. 2. That very night, the private officials, the forensic police were present to conduct a thorough examination. The car Mr. Acos's white pickup truck became the only important thing. Around headlight and light detection area, The battery scanned every inch of the ground, searching for shells, bullets, footprints, or any other clues of the perpetrator. Inside the car, the victim's body, the head was dismembered with a sharp cut. Sweet shows the fierce soil to become scattered patients and may have used a large knife or specialized tools. There are no signs at the scene. Signs of struggle, most likely. The victim was first done elsewhere, was brought here. The separation of the method, the convenient thinking device placed on the roof of the car, makes it. The investigator immediately thought of the ritual scene. The usual suspects of gangs forbidden. In the driver's seat, the Earth Law witness present a high-capacity mobile phone belonged to the victim, along with a set of documents. Crumpled material. Also, no Paparazzi identification or wallet. Window glass, the driver's side is half opened, found the possibility that the victim had stopped the car and talked to someone before being attacked. Work. Strange handprints and stains. The reddish-brown plate may be mud from the place. Other was also collected from the door handle and the rear trunk, all sealed. Fong waited to analyze things in his head. Investigator. Questions asked simultaneously. The sound of 100 people shouting. Where did the victim go and meet? Who in the period before death contact, and why a politician between countries as political violence escalates Mexico, left alone without bodyguard? Well, this murder case is related to a series of cases network before or not. With a violent incident political force like this, the determination, the identity of the ill-fated politician, and relationships as well as policies books, promises and perspectives. His work on social issues is very important. It helps to identify the opposing side, enemies, and those believed to have been Hitachiing interests, that is, groups with motives to cause his entrance. Even though I already had a name in mind, the investigation team is still in no rush to conclude, carry out identification. According to the procedure, he had to rely on fingerprints, taken from the desk victim's hand, compared with database identity documents. At the same time, they also quoted dental records data to confront with the head obtained. By dawn October 7, 2024, everything is clear. Obviously, the worst-case scenario has happened. The owner of the car, is also the one who bought it. The pickup is Alejandro Acos Catalan, the new mayor of Chipingo, has just taken office. He was 43 years old, born and raised in the city single chip Guerrero. Grown from student movement and union work locally, Acos is known as a passionate social activist before entering the program school. He has a wife and 2 children with his family. The child always keeps the image of a person-friendly man. In 2024, Acos Catalan runs for Mayor Chipingo under the flag of the Independent Alliance counterweight to the ruling party, a Renain Guerrero. His victory was considered the voice of the people's wishes change because they are frustrated with the situation, escalating violence and political suspicion, the right to collude with criminals. His people who understand the situation of their homeland, Alexandro Acos, planned security reform right from the start of the campaign. He proposed Chin Single Shield Project, focuses on increasing strength in local police and invest in criminal investigation and prosecution. This tough stance on crime shows clearly his determination to bring Chipingo escapes from the clutches of gangs. Friends and colleagues model described Mr. Acos as a humble, dedicated person and full of optimism. For him to serve community service is the way of life, he believes. This city deserves peace and happiness. Happiness. When he took office as mayor on May 30th, 2024, Alejandro Acos only set up a young and full team of collaborators, enthusiasm, but he soon stumbled terrible challenges. Right before previous ceremony, Ulysses Hernandez Martinez, a former Special Forces commander, was planned appointment of assassinated security chief fatal. A few days later, Francisco Gonzalo Tapia Gutierrez, Tan City Council Office wing, his right hand was also squeezed right there. Chupan Single Center. Although lost, two powerful mixers in a few days, he is still determined with his work, even appear in areas most dangerous, to inspect the situation as Decapitated region, which is famous for its gang table. Market image young leader wearing wading boots for relief. The storm and the night come back. The people are worried about safety. The security has caused a stir, but nowhere is what remains of the mayor just a cold, lifeless body full protection. At this time, the case is officially closed. National Seriousness, a case political network aimed at high leaders, the city's best. Investigation Force Mexico immediately entered the race, with time to expose the truth. General. The task force was established, consisting of elite investigators of the Literature Office of Minister Libang Rero in the coordination with the army and the guards. The country was mobilized to assist. The first question that arises is why did Akos was alone again in a deserted place to then fall into the hands of the murderer? Luckily, the first needle. The first of the main culprits was the victim's associates, people at the town hall. They said the meeting Sunday morning, October 6th, Mr. Still working and posting a lot of information post on social networks about the situation local. Hurricane John recovery. He suddenly left the office early in the afternoon, said he would go meet some people in the suburbs, but did not disclose details. Through the closed-to-traffic camera, police detected his car is now downtown. Around 3:00 p.m. run south to Peterstown, a rural area known as the Area of Operation of Lost Ark. The car disappeared from camera plate when entering unsupervised areas close, and that's when the phone Akos lost communication signal. This detail matched the words of a citizen reporter that around late afternoon they heard the sound of gunfire hot air from the road into TP Coland, a remote mountain area bordering Petaculus. So what really happened? And who is behind this tragedy? Still in mystery. With experience in the crime of trafficking in prohibited goods, investigators quickly contacted with the murder of Mr. Akos, along with the prosecutors, a sophisticated segment of gangs. The beheaded and publicly exposed, often the mark of criminal groups want to send a message. Besides that, Mr. Akos's recent inaugurations strongly called for increased security revenge theory, prevented from the gangs. The party has clear motives. Los Arilosby, the notorious group in the Chipan area, single pentaculars emerged as a number one in the force's speculation function. However, that is just the style, guess and need specific evidence to prove first. The forensic team determined that Akos was downed in the late afternoon, October 6, 2024. Cause of death life may be due to traumatic brain injury, severe or acute blood loss. Examination showing signs of double vision plastic wire hand for a few hours before. When he died, there were signs of illness, purple around the wrist. Therefore, the investigator predicts Mr. Akos was ambushed at the appointment at Pentaculars, kidnapped and taken away. Others killed them, and then they drove away. His body returned to Chipaningo for display school. Check the car. Forensic team discovered several pieces of wire on the trunk rope and tarpaulin stained with blood, perhaps those to transport the body victim. No camera recorded. The scene where the killer abandoned the car shows that they very discreet location. The scene is therefore not help identify the perpetrator, but also strengthen the hypothesis of a planned, crime-well-prepared organization. Continued. Then the investigator checked the schedule and recent threats against Mr. Akos. They quickly grasped two murder cases, continuously aimed at the motive of being a partner. Mr. Ulises Hernandez was shot on 27 months, and Francisco Tia was murdered 3 days after the inauguration. Less than a week, the city's leadership lost 3 people, all a part of the new team. This cannot be a coincidence. Profile investigation into the Ulysses Tapia case was entered into the project. The results of the assessment ballistics show that both Ulysses and Tapia was shot with a 9mm gun a type of weapon common of murder crimes other by order. In particular, currently Olaise's case has witnesses who saw the killer down hand put on uniform to control and leave escape towards the mountains. In case the area, there is a militia community calling itself Policia Comunitaria Works, but this group is suspected of being associated with the gang Los Arrilos. This luck makes Los Adrelos even more stand out more vividly in the picture panorama. At the same time, the control team traced electronically. They quoted Mr. Coy's mobile phone export restore call and message logs. Go to on the day of the incident. There was a strange call. Lasted a few minutes in the early afternoon. Unknown content due to use of code application. The phone number to call is registered below. Fake, but signal location petaculous. This coincides with the Mr. Akos left the office to meet someone at Pacuas. It could be the secret call itself. This secret led him into a trap. Besides, those are his workshop messages. Recent days show he expressed concerned about his safety after his departure of Secretary Tia. So even believe message to Governor En Sardo for support ensure security. He also said on a radio show on October 4th that Chin Pan was anarchic and cried out, call on the governor to increase protection for Thesity officials. What an irony! It was only 2 days after that cry for help that he was shot. This incident is even worse. Urge state and federal governments to concentrate energy for the investigation, because if not broken, the new government's reputation will be quickly judged. While the investigation teams focus on one-way criminal gangs, silently consider the internal factors of the session. By the end of October 2024, year-old Laotian street vendor Pila in Pentaculars provided testimony. Shockingly, he said that on the 27th in October 2024, he was attacked by a group of people, armed kidnapping while selling goods. In Petulas, they suddenly became police officers, community, and forced him into a truck to return, go. On that fateful journey, he overheard the conversation between the two, the one nicknamed El Gimi and Elm Chuo. While they were talking, the shocking news was revealed that the person behind the order to kill her, Chief Alexandro Akos, is German Ret Juret, acting director of the security service, Chipinango City Public. I heard of Mr. Kadiro was shocked, but still pretended not to know anything when the group caught him. The toad carried him to the Quechan Tenego stream. Lost Andri Ice Brothers. Gravelot, they released him on the orders of a mysterious leader. This person just called exchange something with Jeman Ret here. Is the information extremely important information, because if true meaning, this crime has the hand of men in the government. Investigation team decided to keep the ants in a very small group, small person in charge of verifying to beat the snakegrass did not happen. They started investigation German Re's resume. Records show German Re, 54 years old, was born in Guerrero. Reyes joined the Mexican army at a young age and serving in the military judiciary at the senior level captain before discharge. Notably, he just moved to deputy director prosecutor in charge of serious crimes of Guerrero State in early 2024. But in May 2024, Reyes was fired from prosecutor's office of the chief prosecutor Sandra L. Vanvinos for a scandal. More specifically, on May 13, 2024, a judge arrested Jeman Reyes on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of justice related to another case. But Reyes was able to request castration to execute the arrest warrant through the protection procedure. This has meaning when he was appointed as security chief Chin Paningo on 3 October 2024. Reyes is actually subject of investigation. Why would a person have arrest warrant and are assigned security responsibility security? Digging deeper, the investigation team discovered Reyes is currently involved in an ambiguous relationship. Previously, he has led investigations into many cases, major organized crime case in Guerrero, but none of the cases came to an end. in which there was a case where he investigated the former mayor on the single Noma Otilia Hernandez. By her, this clip of a secret meeting with the boss was leaked. Celso Ortega of the Los Ilos gang. Profitalso Rees is in charge of investigating several other mayors in the Thera Kaleen area involved in other crimes, but Alal will sink. Dries' profile began to show signs of a dirty cadre specializing in protecting criminals from here. The theory is that Jen Rees could be the gunman, in the state of Los Thorns into the main rights, after stringing everything together. The control team. I remember that after Ulysses Hernandez Martinez died, 27th of the month, someone introduced Reyes to him. Akos must give. That third-person gang pimps try to plant people. Entering the security system here still is a mystery, but enough for the investigation. Team more cautious with Reyes. They secretly placed Ray under supervision, electrical inspection talk, and secretly follow the most Lafis movements from afar. As soon as everything not yet clear, an unknown development, the unexpected happened. Just 6 days after he Candido testified, he was discovered passed away at home in a advanced state of decomposition. Death. This mystery has led the investigation team to believe that someone wants to cover up the customer's lead. Dong accidentally heard something he shouldn't have. Listen. The case is deadlocked again, and even tinged with gloom by the seeming as the criminal's hand can reach everyone, both witnesses under the protection of public authorities. In the meantime, another anonymous clue appears, an anonymous email sent to the police department city, claiming to be a local police side denouncing that German Rees himself ordered the murder of Mr. Akos by phone. However, due to unknown sender whoever, this accusation is only considered as insufficient reference information direct evidence. To strengthen the records of the investigator asked for the assistance of the agency. Silver, they analyze institute data, including call history and location J-Man Raz phone in about time sensitive. The results showed that October 6th afternoon, phone Rias signal appears near Quun Tenang right, in the hideout of Los Arilos. Although Raz claimed he was at home earlier, private. In addition, on the morning of October 7th, there a call from Reyes' phone to the number anonymous phone. But this data, although it has not been proven that the crime was committed, paper raised strong doubts about the connection. Rez. Investigators are secretly collect DNA samples and fingerprints of Ray to compare with the traces in his car. Akos results in no robbery. But also not surprising, because if he is the mastermind, then Reyes may not need to personally take action. But if they detect a fingerprint, strange prints under the car matched someone's fingerprints. Lost Network criminal Andre Los, this guy's nickname is N. Jimmy, is the same name as the seller, the ill-fated Hawker Zero had declared earlier. Now the picture is clear. Los has a lot of potential. Present the murder case on orders from inside, and by early November 2024, the case has been significantly thickened with more evidence. Next pointed at Reyes. Prosecutor Guerrero decided it was time to act. They asked for an arrest warrant for J-Man Reyes' premeditated murder. A Plan A careful plan of arrest was drawn up because concerns that Reyes may be armed inside leg of the force. 12th of May 2024 at noon, as special team coordination between the prosecutor's office. The Army and National Guard were surprised into the Chip Singleo security office where Reyes was working. He was controlled, handcuffs that almost no time to react. Chiancingo was shocked again and said the accusation of killing Mr. Akos turned out to be person in charge of city security of him. After being arrested, Jimin Res showed out calm to cold. Statement of the original his head completely denied the charges. Re-declared, my dad is just a scapegoat, and still big voices saying this is a political incident to blame him unjustly. However, final decision of the authority. The possibility is still to detain and prosecute Raymond Jez for premeditated murder based on the evidence. This decision means, with RES going to jail awaiting trial, and the investigation will continue to with her profile. The murder aimed at the Market Catalan leader Alejan Acos causes a spiral of Mexico. Therefore, the litigation process closely watched by the public. When German Rees was arrested in November 2024, Guerrero State Court holds session preliminary hearing to consider the evidence. The primary evidence consists of testimony, Mr. Jamilo Cedo's anonymous email, Rees's name, and contact data with gang members. The prosecution emphasized strength in the presence of RES in government has facilitated criminal activity. On the other hand, Rez's defense team, including people hired by his family, and even some mysterious political allies, vehemently deny all allegations. They argue that all the evidence is against the client are fragile and indirect. They focus sharp point to the fatal weak point to get the person. The main evidence is no longer there. The lawyer requested ask the court to reject Mr. Romitilo's testimony candendo for not being able to cross-examine. They refers to the skill that testimony can do forgery and requests signature verification. The insured party also requested to remove the special email from profile because anyone can make it up. They stressed that Reyes has a track record serve in the army, without any motive hand over to superiors after only 6 days. They also outlined another hypothesis, that the Los Adrios gang took action against Mr. Acos and the government are looking for a goat to replace it. Rey is guilty of appeasing the people. This statement made many people in the room nod because indeed, if there is a lack of people living proof, the proof of Rey's stick will not be easy. Before the argument resolute, the judge of the first instance court decided that there were sufficient grounds for a trial official court. Under Mexican law, from here on the prosecutor will have time to gather more evidence as well as being able to remember support from the federal prosecutor's office if deemed necessary. Indeed, before the complexity and importance of the case there is a call to transfer the file to the federal level. State, but it is currently still being Banguero accepted. In the final stages, 2024, early 2025, the trials have not taken place yet public. However, the information leaked to know the prosecution is facing many difficulties. They try to capture the lost members. Angelos participated in the murder, but the gang this party is well hidden in the mountains. Summer warrant has been issued for those, the one nicknamed El Gimi, Elmoa, some other suspects. However, by October in 2025, there were no reports of arrests directly by the perpetrators. This making Reyes' case even more lacking in evidence. Witness Kong Tavian hopes that failure to catch the culprit will directly convince the court that Reyes is the one behind it, but that also can be a double-edged sword. The defense will think the government cannot catch the killer, the real one, so blame it on the head Reyes. During his detention, Jaman Reyes still stubbornly denies the crime. He repeatedly declared to the press that he will be exonerated and counter-accused of conspiracy, political plot to harm him. Notably, Rez's former colleague in the army also sent a letter expressing support, saying that Rees is a patriot, not a patriot. Betrayal. Public opinion is also divided. Partly, the people who believe Reyes is the most guilty are the people, Chipingo, but the department is skeptical that this could be a showdown between the political factions. And until now, currently the official trial is still ongoing, not opened. Further investigation is underway, long due to the complexity of the case. Guerrero Prosecutor's Office admitted that currently only one defendant has been arrested and no charges have been filed. Final conclusion. They are still working on it non-stop. His family, side Marcos, and local public opinion were feverish, guts for showing justice. Expected session J-Man Rees trial will take place in 2026 if nothing changes. If convicted crime, Rayman Jess may face the state's maximum sentence for a crime aggravating circumstances, especially cruelty, but if he gets away with it, it will be a shock and great disappointment for the people. The federal government pledged to closely monitor and help bring the perpetrator to light. The People's Shingo table is waiting day and night, final judgment for the soul. The late chief rested in peace. Mayor Alejandro Arcos Catalan has let profound impact on society Mexico. It is a reminder that the fight against crime in Mexico is still tough and bloody. It was not just war outside of society, but also the battle forest or confidence in the state apparatus. The people of Chansingo are still waiting to see who will be killed. The real mastermind was punished worthy or not. They wait for a severe sentence to prove that justice has not been done. Lower the situation under the criminal's tongue, and above all, they hope for the sacrifice of Huecos will not be meaningless. But this will be. There are many other shields erected to protect the city from barbarism and a similar occurrence on the land theirs. In your opinion, Ray is really the mastermind or just the next sacrificial pawn on the political board? Leave a comment below comment section, as well as like and subscribe. Still real, so you don't miss our latest videos.
Yeah.